Olivia's heart skipped a beat when she saw Nick walk into the cafe and head straight for her table. She had barely sat down when she noticed him approaching. Olivia and her husband Brad had been neighbors to Nick and his wife Louise for years. Despite the age difference, Nick and Louise being in their early 40s and Olivia and Brad in their mid-30s, the two couples had become close. They often spent time together, sometimes traveling both with and without kids. "This is unexpected," Olivia said, her voice tinged with curiosity as she glanced over his shoulder. "Shouldn't you be at work right now?" Nick offered a faint smile and sat down across from her. "I could ask you the same thing," he replied casually. "I decided to take the afternoon off to handle something personal." "Looks like you had the same idea," Olivia nodded. "I just needed a break after a busy morning." "I didn't realize this was your kind of cafe." "It's not," Nick admitted, his gaze fixed on her. "I saw you walking in and decided to join you." The directness of his words made Olivia look away, her fingers nervously playing with her coffee cup. "What's going on?" she asked, her brow furrowed with concern. "Is everything okay with Louise? She's not hurt, is she?" Nick's expression softened, and he smiled reassuringly. "Louise is fine, but I appreciate your concern. You and Brad have always been such dependable friends, which is part of why I needed to talk to you today." Olivia's unease grew, and she hesitated before speaking. "What's this about?" Nick's tone turned serious, his eyes steady. "Have you been intimate with him?" "Ow!" Olivia's face flushed deep red and she stammered, utterly taken aback. "What? I don't even know who you're talking about." Nick's voice remained calm, almost conversational. "The man you keep watching from across the room. You know who I mean." Her heart raced as she tried to process his words. "No, I haven't," she blurted out, shaking her head. Her hands moved to her lap instinctively, a defensive gesture that only seemed to confirm her unease. Nick regarded her with a mix of understanding and firmness. He placed a gentle hand on hers. "Listen to me," he said softly. "I need to explain." "What's really going on here? What you think is happening, and most importantly, what he believes is happening?" Olivia nodded hesitantly, her mind racing. Nick leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a low, steady tone. "He's charming, isn't he? Probably younger than Brad, or maybe more accomplished. He seems to have qualities that Brad doesn't, or at least that's what he wants you to think. But Brad, he's always there for you. He listens when you need to vent, supports you when you're down, and even sacrifices for you when it counts." Olivia stiffened at his words, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't know how to respond to that." Nick continued, his tone unwavering. "In the past 2 weeks, you've missed 2 important moments: your son's birthday and your 9th anniversary dinner. Both times it was because this man needed your attention. He's drawn you in, Olivia, and you didn't even realize it was happening." Her voice trembled as she tried to explain. "Nothing has happened between us. We're just friends." Nick's response was matter of fact. "The kind of friend you keep secret from your husband because you know he wouldn't approve. The kind of friend who knows more about your marriage than most people. He's encouraged you to see Brad as a problem, hasn't he? Every time Brad gets suspicious, you interpret it as proof that he's being unreasonable. But that's not the truth, is it?" Olivia's jaw dropped, her face pale. "How do you know all of this?" she whispered. Nick's gaze remained steady. "I've been paying attention. And let's be honest, when your son kissed you and said he loved you, or when Brad planned your anniversary dinner, which one did you prioritize?" Olivia's breath hitched as she processed his words. "I only missed our anniversary because he was grieving a friend who had just passed away. It wasn't planned. It just happened." Nick nodded slightly. "I understand how you rationalize it. But look at yourself right now. You're sitting here waiting for him, even though you claim nothing has happened. I think things might have escalated. Beyond just a kiss. If Brad were the one involved, you'd probably consider it crossing the line." Olivia flinched at his words but didn't respond as Nick continued. "Yet as your charming friend has likely pointed out, Brad isn't a partner you truly want. He's merely someone filling the gaps you think are missing at home. While you might feel some responsibility for how this started, you're still drawn to him even finding it flattering. It's unsettling, but you've convinced yourself that nothing significant has happened, even though deep down you feel guilty and hope Brad never discovers the truth." Olivia's face crumpled as she wiped her eyes. "I won't tell Brad. I can't, she whispered. He'll figure it out on his own. Nick shook his head. Let me talk about what he thinks is happening. This man sees someone vulnerable, distracted, and easily swayed. Olivia stayed quiet as Nick raised a hand to silence any protest. Don't interrupt me, he said. This man isn't as innocent as he seems. He knows exactly what he's doing. You might think he's interested in you, but that's not the whole story. He's playing a game. It's about Brad, not just you. He enjoys undermining Brad, making him feel inadequate and proving he's more important to you than your husband. He's encouraged you to miss 2 events that were meaningful to Brad. Coincidence? Hardly. Olivia's hands trembled, but she tried to explain. But it was bad timing. His friend had passed away and he needed me. Nick's voice remained firm. Think about it. The timing wasn't coincidental. He orchestrated those moments. Brad's birthday is coming up in 3 weeks. Are you going to let this happen again? Olivia's face paled. I can't. Nick raised an eyebrow. Let me remind you, on your anniversary, Brad sat alone at a restaurant for an hour while you were in this man's arms. When you texted Brad some flimsy excuse about a friend being sick, you didn't even bother to come up with a believable story. Did you? And now, you're skipping work to see him. What does that say about your priorities, Olivia? Olivia drew in a shaky breath. He doesn't want to hurt Brad, she whispered. He just wants me. Nick let out a dry chuckle. Of course he does. He knows everything you've told him about Brad. He's playing on Brad's insecurities, making you doubt your marriage and pushing you toward a breaking point. He needs that divide between you and Brad to keep his game alive. And when he's sure he has you, he won't hesitate to let Brad know exactly what's been going on. He'll twist the truth if it serves his purpose. Olivia's eyes widened in horror. How do you know all this? She whispered. Nick's expression hardened. I've been around long enough to recognize the signs. Louise and I have been happily married for years, but I've seen situations like this before. You have 2 choices. Keep lying to yourself and let it spiral out of control, or face reality and stop this now before it destroys your marriage. Tears welled in Olivia's eyes. Brad can't find out, she choked out. Nick exhaled deeply. If you keep going down this road, he will find out. And when he does, it'll be much worse. That man will make sure Brad hears about it, Tand. He might twist the truth to make it seem worse than it is. Olivia sobbed quietly, shaking her head. I can't tell him. Nick leaned forward, placing a calming hand on her shoulder. Then, don't do anything else that you regret. Don't meet him. Don't even hug him goodbye. If you let this continue, Brad will find out and it'll be the end for both of you. A deep voice interrupted from behind them. Is this man bothering you? Nick turned to see a tall, thin man with a thick beard standing nearby. Without hesitation, Nick extended his hand. You must be Red, he said evenly. Reed hesitated before shaking it, but Nick's grip tightened, pulling him in closer. In a firm voice, Nick whispered, Listen carefully. If you try to cause a scene, you'll regret it. If you speak to my wife or even mention her, there will be consequences. Reed winced as Nick released his hand. What the hell are you? Reed began, his voice faltering. Nick leaned in, his tone icy. I'm the one who knows exactly what you're up to. Don't make a fool of yourself over this. She isn't worth it. Nick straightened and turned back to Olivia. Still have a chance, he said, his voice softer now. Go home and be honest with Brad. Tell him the truth before things get worse. He deserves that much. Olivia nodded, tears streaming down her face. Thank you, she whispered. Nick's expression softened briefly. Don't thank me. Just do what's right. So guys, if you all liked today's story, please like the video and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.